So yeah, so what I found today is that pretty much done from first one to last one, and before last one, I'm like doing like usual, remove cap, push the rod down. To my point was to make sure like I clean all rod bearings because there was some debris, some small like sand kind of like some shit like this. So everything was perfect. So push it every cylinder down and clean it, put it back, tight it. Everything was good till the before last one. Last one, what's happened is I remove cap and trying to push cylinder down, but it doesn't go. Like it doesn't go by hands. So I'm like, well, maybe like sometime it's happened that like pretty much rod bearing is kind of like a kind of glue with old oil to the crank, and it's like really hard to, not hard, but like a little bit more difficult to push it down. But this time was like really weird. So move it with some tools. It's move it a little bit, but it's still hard. And even like as soon as it was loose, it's still moving hard. And that's what I found actually. Yeah, this one, if I'm not sure if we're gonna see this, yeah, we can see a little bit. You see how it's amazing, how it's straight pretty much, and you can see, let me do like this, and you can see from here, like here, the mark. So pretty much the piston actually was touching my cap for a crank. So what's happened is that pretty much like if you see this one, it's pretty straight. You see it's like it's pretty much stay in middle of piston as a rod, so everything is good. But this one, if you check, it's pretty much to that side, so it's not straight enough. So what's happened is that it's pretty much bent, the rod is bent, so I need to disassemble again. I already removed all my caps, all valves, like solenoids, pretty much all here. So I disassembled, so I need to go different ways. Gonna remove head, so I need to order a new head gasket, new bolts, remove piston. I'm gonna take a piston from that engine, or maybe this one, have choice. Yeah, so it's gonna take more time. It sucks because yeah, it's like a little bit situation when you don't expect this. And just to give you idea too, it was kind of fail because small story about this engine that I got from one guy like 6 hours away from my city. And at beginning, like everyone wanna save the money, so pretty much I was looking for a cheap crank because like I have 2 engines already. So my point was to get just used crank. But what's happened is that I asked the guy for a crank. I said like, look, I'm ready to pay that amount of money and blah blah blah. He say, well, look, I don't have a time and like all the kind of shit like this. So he's like if you want, you can take full engine like a core, pretty much heads, everything was there except like some like a missing part, like pretty much like head and 2 heads, block, covers, all pretty much assembled engine, but like no turbos, nothing. So I'm like, he's like, if you want, you can take a full engine for $900. So I say $900 is cheap, like it's good kind of money, especially like if it's like a crank is good condition. So it's perfect for me because like on market crank, it's like between when we talk about 900 Canadian. So if you talk about US, it's probably 700 or $600. So pretty cheap compared to what I see on eBay. It's for a good used crank, it's at least $1,300 at least. So so I went there, and I before going there, I said to the guy, look, I'm gonna take the engine only if crank gonna be in good condition, if rod bearings not gonna damage the crank. So in that case, I'm gonna take the full engine and everything. So he said, yes, no problem. You can come and disassemble by yourself because his mechanics was busy and blah blah. So I went there. We disassemble all cranks, all rod bearings. I check everyone one by one. All of them been changed. So all of them been changed. They are almost like look like new. Like if like engine was running for like a I can say max 2,000 kilometers. That's max on new rod bearings. Also saw some marks that been like with marker that they pretty much done the job not long time ago, and that was my like kind of like question was that like why the guy had it, and also like why like what's happened with this engine, why they remove it from the car. So because basically I asked him from what car he is coming. He said from Series 7, and I know that Series 7, most of the cars that fail, it's most of them it's Series 7 for some reason. Like a Series 5 don't hear much, but Series 7 it's like often. So what's happening is like I'm like, okay, weird. And he's like, I bought for we took this engine bought from for a client to put in his car, but at the end the client give up on car or whatever, so we just have an engine and we want to sell it. I'm like, okay. So I starting to check. I found that like all like the crank is in good condition. Like if you can see, it's pretty good. Like and even this one, it's a little bit like kind of damage. It's not even visible almost, because it's exactly the rod that bent, so it's a little bit, it's makes some few scratches, but not much. So I said to the guy like, well, that's nice. I mean, like the engine in a good condition. It's like a rod bearings been changed not long time ago and everything. And he was like a little bit surprised, and he's like, well, like there was none, like a one or two that been like a kind of more damage. I'm like, no, doesn't it look like I saw like a last cylinder, I think, or like a before last one, that rod bearing was a little bit more had kind of like a surface usage, but not much. So I'm like, so that's why I'm like, look, it's probably they replaced rod bearings not long time ago, so like I don't see any problems. It's like it's good to go. He's like, oh, okay, and he was like surprised too, but it's questioned me like if the guy knew something. And I was with my friend, and I said to my friend same situation. He's like, yeah, it was weird. But anyway, like we took this engine for $900. Came home, so like I can turn the engine with my hand. Everything worked perfectly. Pretty much like when I done sandblast my valves, I used some product like it's like a kind of like a water product to eliminate as much as possible exhaust like oil and everything. So when I was doing this, my springs for valves was removed. So all my no, actually my cams was removed. So my springs pushed valves up. So all valves been closed. So I fill up with water inside to clean my valves. So valves been staying like this for a day to eliminate as much as possible the oil, and all valves was okay. Like that's what I saw. Like there was no like leaking inside of cylinder. So I'm like, okay, everything is good. Basically, nothing like give me any questions like what's happened. Only the question that I had, it's the guy knew something and he didn't told me. So I can say that like I knew exactly, like now I realize what's happened is that pretty much everything is good, like turning easy, nothing has happened, valves close and everything, but this piston is damaged. So not piston, rod is damaged. bent. So I'm not actually sure how it's happened. It might be that injector is stuck and it's just put a lot of fuel inside, and it's just like a block cylinder at some point, and it's just bended. Or something else happened, detonation maybe, but it's really weird, like because the rest is all good. It's only one cylinder. So not sure what's happened with the engine, but it's give me the answer that the guy knew about. So I'm 100% sure now that the engine been installed by this company, by this shop where I bought the engine. And as soon as they started, the engine start to make noise as if crank bearings been finished, and it's make when it's gonna be damaged, if the rod gonna be pretty much bent like this, it's gonna give you almost exact sound as like your rod bearings is finished. So it's gonna make like a clacking noise. So yeah, so that's the situation. But anyway, like I have nothing to say to the guy, because anyway, my point I wanted to buy crank, so that was my point. So I bought crank a little bit more than I supposed to, but I got the engine too. He didn't tell me that like the engine was in good condition, everything. He just said verify it by yourself. So nothing to say about this situation, but same time I feel like honestly it's always a good way to go. So when you are not honest, sorry, it's a little bit fail. So even if he will tell me that, look, there is one rod is bent, so you need to probably do something, I will still buy the engine because it's still cheap. I don't care. It's just like it will give me a less headache now, because now I already starting to assemble and everything, and I had no idea that one was bent, because how I say, like, it's give you no issues till the point that you actually are really gonna look on it, or you actually gonna remove it and gonna start to push, and that's where it's gonna start to be hard. If not, I can say how so, like I can turn it with my hand, the crank without any spark plugs and everything, so it's turning. So yeah, so that's the situation. So now I'm gonna remove the head, gonna order a new head gasket and bolts for this week. So I hope next weekend again we're gonna lose week to starting to assemble. So also it's gonna give me some more time to finish to clean my parts, prepare everything to make sure that as soon as I got all parts, it's gonna take me one day to assemble everything back. So I'm gonna give you updates. I'm gonna upload probably video today. I have enough for like small video to do, so I think it's gonna be time to give you some information. So yeah, so give you some updates soon.